Death Must Die. I've been having a blast with this game on my stream. And I stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you're one just hang out, just drop by. I'll leave the link down in the description below. But this game is amazing, especially with the update. It only takes 20 minutes to go through an act. So if you have time to spare and you just want to have some fun, Death Must Die got you covered with just 20 minutes of gameplay. What does it offer for those that might have never played it before? If you're into collecting gear, making builds, and playing different heroes, Death Must Die is the game for you. Now we're gonna go down the gear. So you have your standard like normal, blue, rare, and then epic gear. And these gears could roll, certain mods that could push you into a particular build. So for example, if say you like the skills that these gods and goddesses offer that are called power, right? That's the mod. You could get gear that increases power damage, increases the duration, increases whatever tag it will come with power. Most of the time, you're going to go for the damage, obviously, because you need to do damage. But then you could do that with summons. And then you could do that with just the dash ability, which is insane because the dash is mostly movement, but there's also some skills that the gods and goddesses offer that will make it do an attack. So it's bonkers of how you could do that one. And then let's name a few more. You got cast, and then you got strike. So you could tailor-made builds and farm for gear to your heart's content until you get like the perfect setup for your character or for all the characters if you want. And then from there, we could just talk about all the different skills. There's so many cool skills in Death Must Die. Like, there's some skills that feel better than others, obviously, but for the majority, it's like 80% of the skills in that game are fun to play. That's huge, man. That's a huge percentage. There's sometimes games will have certain skills that just suck, and then one skill that stands out. Granted, Death Must Die has that as well. You go into the Reddit, I think it's like Gem something is one of the skills that was like super OP, but that's the game has to be like that because once you raise the difficulty, and that's another thing I'll get into more depth soon. You need the craziness because the the enemies start getting insane once you start tapping with the difficulty. Now, let's break down that. If you are a type of gamer that likes a challenge, you will find that with Death Must Die. With that, how do you get the challenge? So, say you're brand new, you're playing the game for the first time. Say you beat it, right? The first time you beat Dracula, that's not gonna happen. You're you most likely will die. But once you beat it, you unlock Star Crust, and Star Crust is just basically skulls that you get that you could add to the modifier of it to make it harder. And the cool thing about this, instead of the developers, just making it harder, right? It could have been, hey, just choose harder, right? For the difficulty, they could just fluctuate the attacks of the enemies and the life. Here, you get to choose that. You choose. Hey, I want them to have more health. Oh, I want their attack animation to happen faster. Oh, I want their attack to have more area. Oh, I want them to be they walk faster. You get to choose all that. So that's what's unique about Death Must Die. That yes, there's higher difficulty with the standard health, attack, blah blah blah. But you could choose if you want if that's the kind of difficulty you want or not. And that is such a cool system. And then we could talk about just the update stuff, the new update. So Act Two bring in new enemies, a new biome, and a new hero with a new goddess. So we'll just talk about the new enemies. The new enemies feel fresh and different. They don't feel like copy paste from the first act, which I love. And each enemy has unique, sound effects. Like there's this cat enemy that has she's basically a cat with regular cat tail, but it shoots a laser beam at you and it follows you. So she's shooting this laser beam and it follows you. And then you have this queen bee that does some crazy spell that you have to dash out the way. If you don't, you're gonna get hit. And it's just cool things like that. It like they put time into Act Two. It wasn't like copy paste. They actually put time to making it feel different, to make it feel like something fresh because you're doing the same thing. You're just grinding for gear, grinding for things to make your build, or grinding to make your character stronger through gear. So to keep you engaged, they needed something new, which I appreciate that the developers did. Now, in the next part is just a skill tree, which is new as well. The skill tree, the skill tree I like. I know I did that kind of like sigh, but just because what else could they really do? You could pretty much make any build by just gaining certain gear. So they wanted, it seems like with the skill tree, they wanted to focus more like, hey, if you're playing Marissa, Maris, you're gonna be doing more cast damage. I think she has summon, I'm not sure, but it's definitely there's cast damage there. There's generic things like dash, alteration, there's a basic attack damage. So I appreciate that attempt with the skill tree where they tried to make it like, hey, if you don't know what kind of build you want to do, hey, try one of these from the skill tree. Try to make a build out of their skill tree. So I found that to be really cool. And then the new goddess, I think this goddess of stone, her skills are insane. It's like it's pretty crazy. Like she has this one legendary one where it just shakes the whole screen and all the enemies just get stunned and they pretty much die. But if they don't die, they get stunned and it's the whole screen. And then she has, her basic like there's one that does strike damage, and what that is, I think it's called Stone Pillar. And it's either based off how many times you attack or a chance from your attacks, and which will proc it. And it's just a stone that goes out, but it stuns and does hella damage. And it feels like you're, I don't want to say it feels like you're earth, right? It feels like you're grounded with earth, but it makes sense. The kind of damage, or well, I mean, the kind of skills that the animation how it looks makes sense to the goddess. So like they put a lot of thoughts to all gods and all goddesses to make them feel different from each other, and I really appreciate that. Like, cause there's games that they take shortcuts, and these developers for games they only cost $7, only $7. They are putting a lot of effort to make sure that the Act Two is fresh and different, and that to make sure any new gods that they add or goddesses are different from the ones that are currently in the game. And then lastly, with Hero, which is the Ranger, and he's pretty cool. My favorite part is just his attack animation. It's just funny. It seems like he's breakdancing while he's shooting arrows, and that's pretty much it. That's all the reasons I think Death Must Die still worth playing in 2024. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribing. Catch you in the next one.